Since passing my bike tests about a month and a half ago, I reached out to many brands to see what their bikes would be like. And as a beginner, when it comes to bike riding on the road by myself and all that kind of stuff, it was actually quite nice of Triumph to get this out to me, the Trident 660. And this is a bike that's aimed at, I would say, beginner riders like me, first-time riders. You're going to go out on the road. You need something that's comfortable. You need something that will fill you with confidence, lightweight, and also just easy to ride all round. And I think this bike is exactly that. This is the Trident 660 with a triple engine, which is quite known with Triumph. They do great engines and great bike as well. British brand, which is cool as well. I kind of like the styling on this bike. I'm glad they sent me this orange colorway because you get an orange tank. I think it's a 14-litre tank. You get a bit of detail on the front there, and I think that's about it. Maybe it could have done with more orange detailing, but I think it's more than enough. I think it looks great, especially in pictures. You should check out my Instagram for that. Some great pictures on there. But let's talk about the design. Talked about the colorway already. I really like that. It's also available in like white and different decals and things that you can do to it to make it really yours. But I like this one. I think if I was to order one myself, I'd definitely get this color. Up front, we have the Showa suspension with the brake discs and stuff like that there. The Showa there on the front is fixed, so you can't adjust that. You got upside down forks. And then on the back, we have Showa as well, but that one you can change the preload setting. So if you want to take people on the back, so your Pillion, you can adjust that accordingly. Or if you're going to carry luggage and all that kind of stuff, you can adjust that accordingly. The bar itself, I think, is quite nice. It's not too long, it's not too short. I think it's just perfect, makes you feel comfortable. When it comes to the levers, they're very comfortable to use as well. The brake on the right side can be adjustable, so you got a little dial there to adjust it to suit your preference. I've just left it on 3 at the moment, which is nice and stiff, just the way that I like it there. The mirrors as well, they're really good for visibility, although you can get a different mirror as well that hangs on the end bar. You can pay extra for that. And then on the front, we have your LED lights on the front, really bright as well. I really like them. I tend to ride a lot in the dark because I come to the studio in the daytime, I leave when it's dark. So again, fills me with confidence. You got the LED indicator lights. You can get the animated ones as well. You pay extra for those. And then you get your TFT display here, which is quite good actually. The colorful TFT display will show you all the regular information that you need, like speed, your rev, range and stuff. You can change things like your ride mode, so you can go to rain and just standard road. You can change all that settings on there. If you've paid for the extra connectivity package, then you can have Bluetooth connectivity and also perhaps be able to connect it for sat nav and all that kind of stuff. There's nice controls here. I think they're easily reachable within reach of your fingers. You can pay extra for heated grips. This one doesn't come with that, unfortunately. So I could tell you riding to the studio in this weather right now, my fingers, they go really cold and I feel like I'm gonna lose my fingers by the time I get here. So if you can do opt for that heated grips, I think that's very important. And I like the indicator toggle as well. It's quite soft and it just gives you like a little flick. So you easily flick it and press it like as always. So I think overall the setup here is really good for a beginner rider. I love the length of the bar and stuff like that. It's not too heavy as well. I leave all that numbers on the screen so we can focus on the experience, so like engine speeds and all that kind of stuff. But this is 80 brake horsepower at just above 10,000, around 10,250 RPM. So you get the peak of your brake horsepower there, which is not bad at all, especially when you get on a motorway. You can still get a bit of rev out of it when it comes to, imagine you've hit 60 and you still want to go further, there's still enough torque to get you to be able to overtake very easily and confidently as well. This weighs around 189 kilograms, which is really good for agility. So whether you want to be filtering in traffic, this will be good for that. You can feel confident in doing so. And it's about 805 millimeters in terms of sitting height. So for me, I'm about 5'11". So I can get both feet on the ground and there's no problem there at all. Again, for a beginner rider, I think that's pretty much something you'd consider, and that's really good. I really like that. The seats is actually comfortable as well. You got a nice narrow end into it that goes towards the tank, so you can tuck your knees in nicely. And when you're sitting down as well, your knees aren't bent too much. Again, I'm 5'11", so that's coming from my height, and that's more than enough. I think it's really good. One extras you can add to this as well is a quick shifter, which you can buy extra, but I'd advise to get that if you can. If not, it's still pretty much really good. The clutch is fine and the braking is good as well. You get ABS in there, you got traction control, which you can turn off. You can turn off the traction control, but to do that, you can't turn it on and off whilst you're riding. So you'd have to pull over and either turn it off and leave it off, or turn it on and leave it on. But ABS will be on at all times, regardless if you go road mode or rain mode. Back to that back area. So I love how the seats just suspend on the back, really good. I'm not a fan of this bit here. I wish this was actually maybe up here as well, which is fine. It's just me being pedantic about it. So, but if I was to get this for myself, that's something I would modify on the bike itself. There's no grab handle here. So if you want to move this around backwards and forwards, you won't be able to do that. You do get this, which is okay, but I'd prefer the Pillion grab handle, which you can get as an extra as well. So you get these 2 bars that come out on the back side. So that's that there. But otherwise, I think it's a really good bike, nice weight. It's just very, very user-friendly, and I can't fault it when it comes to that at all. The brakes are good as well. You can actually feel the ABS when you're riding around, when it kicks in. But yeah, and if you're a professional as well and you want to get this as a second bike, you can turn the traction control off and do wheelies if you want to. You can do all kind of craziness on there, but that's not something that I do as a beginner. I'm still learning to ride safely on the road. I don't even filter at the moment. That's how much I'm still trying to get used to riding on my own. Out and about and stuff like that. But I think the next thing to do really is to get my helmet, get kitted up and take this on the road and talk to you guys about the ride experience, having ridden this for over a month so far now. I guess actually before we take it out, one more thing is to listen to the exhaust. It's got a standard Euro 5 exhaust on there, which actually sounds really good for what this bike is. I was quite surprised actually. But again, if you really want to mod it, you can and get something a bit louder, but I think this sounds pretty good. Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds really good. At the start, you notice there's a little lag between when you roll it forward, but I won't worry too much about that because once you get on the road, get in the second gear on the move, and you don't really hear that lag anymore. It just kicks into place and it's really good. But yeah, let's take it on the road and talk about my ride experience.
All right, we are heading out to give this 660 a quick ride on the road. I can show you guys what this feels like. I can talk you through my ride experience. The first time I got this bike when it arrived, I had to get used to the throttle response because you pull it and it just goes. That's how much torque it's got. It's got loads of torque in it, which is necessarily not a bad thing. It's just one of those things where you have to get used to it and off you go kind of thing. I love the gears. It just feels really smooth to shift gears and the clutch feels great, which is really good, especially when you're joining traffic and all that kind of stuff. It fills you with confidence. But if you consider rev, third gear, second gear, and there's still more to go. There's a lot to go and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's just a really, really good bike to ride on the road as a first rider. Mirrors are very good, visibility is good. We're about to join traffic ahead. So yeah, visibility is good in the mirrors, easy to maneuver with this, short handles. It's just really nice. I love the short bars. Go ahead. Yes, so yeah, riding in London can be tricky. You have to be fully attentive and just be mindful of the buses and vans and all that kind of stuff because they just cut you up and they barely see you sometimes. But I'm a driver first, so I kind of have an idea what they can see and what they can't see, so I'm very mindful. You're looking at peak power, which is around 80 horsepower. That will be the full horsepower when you get to like around 10,250 RPM. Which is good. You have a peak torque of 47 pound per foot at 6,250 RPM. But like I said, what this means for you is when you get on the motorway, for example, there's always plenty of torque available to fully get this moving and getting up to speed, like you're talking 70 miles per hour speed limit, that kind of stuff. You want to get up to speed very quickly and safely as well. So it really works really well. 90% of that peak torque is on tap from, you're looking at 3,600 RPM. And I'm telling you, man, this thing, it just goes. The speed, performance, the rideability, just comfort. The seats are very comfortable as well. I'm talking riding around London on speed bumps. There's loads of speed bumps on the way to my studio, so that's not a problem at all. The suspension, very good as well. It doesn't feel too stiff. I think the more I ride it, the more I get used to it. Even like I said, going over speed bumps, you don't really feel, it doesn't feel too stiff. I think it just feels perfectly placed. It's just spot on. The shower on the front, great, and on the back as well. You got those 2-piston brake calipers, and the brakes work really well. For some reason, I tend to just default to my foot one because I don't really do heavy speeds that require me to use the front one that often. But when I've taken it on dual carriageways where I'm doing speeds, then yes, it helps a lot to be able to use that extra power in there, and that front brake there. It just works really well. And I really find it hard to fault this bike at all. I think for the price tag, I think it's just around £8,000, just sub £8,000. But then when you add all the extras, so like your different type of mirrors, your quick shifts, your heated grips, when you add all those extra things, so basically, if I was to have this bike the way that I want it to be, like fully spec the way I want it to be, I'll be looking at £9,000. That's the extra handle at the back and quick shift and all these extra things that I would want to add on, and that's the sort of price point that I'd be looking at. So it's quite interesting. I also love that they've got rain and road mode. And when we talk about these modes, in rain mode, it just means that you get less torque, it's less torquey, it's more linear. So when you start to rev up, it just feels nice and smooth. So as a first time rider on your own, I'd say put into rain mode regardless if it's raining or not, because it just means you feel a bit safer. Traction control's on, ABS is on. And if you're feeling confident, put into road mode, and there's more power delivery, and you can rev it and get some more power in it as you go on the road and just move off the line and stuff like that. But I think, honestly, this bike just feels great. I can't fault it. If anyone's asked me which to get between this and maybe the MT-07 and all the other alternative out there, I wouldn't know what to say, to be honest, because I haven't been on those. But this is one of those love at first sight ones where you get on it, you ride it, and you just feel comfortable. You feel like this is the one. I don't need to try the other ones. Fuel tank's good. You're looking at 60 miles per gallon, 60.1. That's what Triumph has claimed, and doesn't necessarily mean you get that, especially if you're going to be taking a motorway and stuff like that, road mode or whatever. But for me, living in London here, I'm getting that comfortably. There's no problems there at all. It's a 14-litre tank, so you're looking at upwards of 183 miles it would do on the full tank. If you're not ragging it about and being reckless with it. So. But other than that, brilliant bike. Absolutely love it. I'm actually thinking of buying one myself because this is a review bike. So as you can imagine, this has to go back next week. I've had it for about a month or so. So it's gonna have to go back, and I'll have to think about getting one myself, which should be good. Also, let's talk about this sound. Man, even with the stock exhaust that we have on here, we're doing it right here. Even with the stock exhaust that we've got installed from factory, it sounds good. I think it doesn't make it sound like an Asbo. It sings really well, so it gives you a really nice sound to it as you go through the revs, through the gears. And it just sounds good. I think I'd keep it, unless I really want something louder. Yeah, you get a nice pop, not pop, but like little bubble out of it. It just sounds really good at lower gears. So yeah, it's really good. I know I keep praising almost everything on this because I just can't fault it. I can't think of anything wrong with it. Like, listen to it. It just sounds so good, and it feels so good as well. The torque and everything, and it's so agile. Look at that. You can just move it if you want to. Filtering is going to be good in this, so you won't have to worry about that. The handlebars are short enough that you don't have to worry about sticking out too much. You go between cars. So yeah, there's a lot of great things about this bike, and I can see why this would be a really good option for urban riding around, for example, like myself. So living in London, it's great for just scooting about. Good fuel consumption, but I'd definitely get the I would definitely get the heated grips and quick shifter, get the tech pack as well, connectivity pack, so I can connect it to my phone and stuff like that, although my helmet does come with a Bluetooth headset built in, which is pretty cool. But that's something that I would definitely get if I was buying this and not reviewing it. That would be a good option. I like the colorway, I think it's really good. I like the colorway, it's really good. I'd get a windshield as well, a screen, just because it gets windy, although you might get some clean air, not turbulent air, but you might get some clean air, but I'll still get that, otherwise you find yourself tucking yourself in like an idiot. So yeah, get yourself a screen if you're going to be taking on the motorway, but this would do well on the motorway as well. There's no problems there for the 660. It's a fully capable bike. It's not just about urban, you know, riding around town kind of vibe. You can take it on the road and do some really good speeds and feel comfortable as well. I'm confident. I've only passed my full license now, about a month and a half, and I've since had this on the road, and I will tell you, it's not a single day that I get on this bike that I feel unsafe or nervous or anything like that. I feel great. Turning left a bit. Look out for this guy. Got a nice 7-minute ride down this road. So we've got a mixture of 20-mile-an-hour zone, traffic, and so on. There comes the speed bump. Oof, nice and easy does it. My balls thank me for that and the bike. Because, yeah, I've been on different bikes before where that would be a problem. Anyway, that's it for the Trident 660. I hope I've done it a bit of justice in terms of my experience with it. It's definitely a bike that I'd recommend to any newbie like me to get on the road, get used to the roads, and then maybe eventually look for something that's a bit more powerful. I think this is a good balance of power, ride comfort, pricing, styling, and just all round a legend. I really like it. It's something I'd definitely recommend and something I'd buy myself when it comes to decision making time and time to pull the plug. I think this will be one that I get until I'm ready for something a bit more super. But yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in and watching. If this is your first time around here, please do subscribe. Thank you. And hit the bell notification as well, so whenever we do another bike review, you guys can be notified for it. And if you have any questions, drop them below. If you have any comments, how we can improve the bike review, I think this is the second one on the channel. Drop a note down below as well, let me know. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.